Yeah, this thriller ain't no good. The climax is two people talking out their feelings. What is up, you guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? I love thrillers, but it's been such a long time since I've been properly thrilled by one, so all that disappointment is gonna leak out all over you. You might need to take a bath after this video. Get the bad juju vibes off you. The last thing he told me, proof on why doing a background check on your fiance shouldn't be like a taboo. It should be actually encouraged. It would save a lot of people from a lot of awkward situations, especially in this book, because this book is about stepmom and angsty teenager bonding. That never happens. What's this book about? We all have stories we never tell. Before Owen Michaels disappears, he manages to smuggle a note to his beloved wife of 1 year. Protect her. Despite her confusion and fear, Hannah Hall knows exactly to whom the note refers. Owen's 16-year-old daughter, Bailey. Bailey, who lost her mother tragically as a child. Bailey, who wants absolutely nothing to do with her new stepmother. As Hannah's increasingly desperate calls to Owen go unanswered, as the FBI arrest Owen's boss, as a U.S. Marshal and FBI agents arrive at her soy salito home unannounced, Hannah quickly realizes her husband isn't who he said he was, and that Bailey just may hold the key to figuring out Owen's true identity and why he really disappeared. Hannah and Bailey set out to discover the truth, together, but as they start putting together the pieces of Owen's past, they soon realize they are also building a new feature, one neither Hannah nor Bailey could have ever anticipated. This is my mistake. I had this bad habit of scrolling on my phone through my library's ebooks. And if the cover looks interesting, without reading the summary, I'll just go, yeah, I'll read that right now. If I had read the summary before I actually started reading the book, I probably wouldn't have even picked up the book, because this sounds like a quest. We gotta go find Owen. I hate quests. Unless it's like a murder quest, count me in, dog. But a missing person quest or an item quest, no. It gives me war flashbacks to Lord of the Rings. That was the longest month of reading of my life. So big thing with me in thrillers are the characters. I have to root and love the character for me to love the book. There are two main characters. We have Hannah, the stepmom, and Bailey, the daughter. Bailey is like, what's it called when you like scrape off the hard top of cheese? Whey? The curdles? I don't know, but she's the hard part of the cheese. She's like the most stereotypical, shallow-end, tracing paper copy of a teenager. And we took that, we left all the good cheesy bits over there to mold, and this is Bailey. She's skim milk. All her personality is irritable. Like, there's nothing. We don't get like a sense of who she is besides rude, angry, sometimes irrational. We're going to talk about that later. Hannah, on the other end, she doesn't have anything to offer either. But unlike Bailey, she does kind of exude a calming, peaceful presence. And I don't know, it was really zen. It's not something to write home about, but I wasn't irritated by her either, so that's a win. Our girl Hannah, though, she has a cool job. She is a wood turner. She'll look at a pine tree, be like, yeah, I can make a nice lamp out of that. Knock it down, boom, boom, whittle, whittle, boom. Fancy wood lamp, however you'd make that work. I've always liked it where, like, main characters are really artsy. They create things. Like Theo Decker from The Goldfinch. Nice. He would like restore antiques and also like falsify antiques, but that's a whole other book. A whole nother much better drama. Go read The Goldfinch. Loved it. But anyways, Hannah, she meets this Owen guy. He's cute, he's nerdy, has his own successful shop called The Shop. It's very techy. But he commits fraud. Or at least his like bosses commit fraud, and for some reason that sends him scurrying off the grid. No one can get in contact with him. And Hannah and his daughter are frantic to find him. Understandable. Also, Owen left behind a big sack full of money. Like $600,000. I could buy a lot of books of that. But the girls can't spend it on anything. It could be dirty money. There's U.S. Marshals knocking on the door. They can seize that money at any moment when they get a warrant. And all of Hannah's neighbors, because they invested in the shop, but now the shop's in trouble for fraud, so the stockholders ain't getting no money back. They're all mad at Hannah because they think she's a part of the scheme too. And it's like, my man Owen is innocent. I'm gonna prove it. But I don't know what to do. So, and this is the most ridiculous part of the book. Because, let's see, daughter Bailey, she lost her mother when she was around 3 or 4. So she didn't have a lot of memories back then. But what she does remember is that she went to a wedding in a church, then went to a football game in Austin, Texas. Okay, that means nothing. However, one of the U.S. Marshals who comes knocking on Hannah's door, he is based in Austin, Texas. So Hannah's like, ooh, Austin, Texas. That must be where Owen is. Because when you're on the run, the first place you want to go to is your hometown. No. So Hannah and Bailey, disregarding how suspicious it looks to leave the state right now, they get on a plane, they go to Austin, Texas. And so this is how I see it in my mind. You know how like in SpongeBob, Patrick picks up SpongeBob and he's like, he's ugly, look at him. Look at him. My brain, because of this book, Bailey and Hannah are just walking around Texas. And it's like Hannah is picking up her stepdaughter and she's like putting her in front of churches, putting her in front of football stadiums. And she's like, is this familiar? Is this familiar? Hannah is trying to jog Bailey's memory of that wedding she went to in a church, that football game she went to after the wedding, because they're hoping that they'll be able to like somehow worm their way back trailing down a path that will somehow lead them to learning Owen's true identity, and maybe that'll give them a way to find him. And as these two girls are just randomly walking around Texas looking at churches trying to find like wedding records from like 15 years ago, it somehow works. It is so far-fetched and dumb. Little break here to also mention the writing style in this book. It's strange. Facts would repeat themselves. It's not like it's grammatically incorrect, it's just really annoying whenever I see it. Like, let's say the book says, Hannah parked her Honda Civic in the parking lot. She slammed the door shut on her Honda Civic. Why did you repeat Honda Civic twice in the back-to-back sentences? Nothing has technically been broken, grammar rule-wise, but that just makes my brain go crazy. Because typically when something like that happens, it's the like, hey, this is a major clue that's going to be important later on, but it's just the Honda Civic. So yeah, most of this book is just these two women getting lost in Texas. They somehow manage to find all these clues that leads them to the right people in the right places. My theory, my working theory at this time, before we realized what was happening, I thought Owen wasn't Bailey's real father. I thought he bought her on the black market. That was my guess. I was wrong, but I didn't have anything to work with. It's not like I could guess what was really happening. I just knew it had something to do with Bailey's identity. Turns out there was this really good lawyer, good in a bad way. He let a lot of drug cartels walk free. And he was a granddaddy. He loved his daughter, and his daughter was Bailey's mother, meaning the granddaughter was Bailey. Well, Mr. Good Lawyer, the grandfather, he made some people mad, and so some people decided to get in a car and they ran his daughter down on the street. She has died. Grandfather, for some reason, blames Bailey's dad, Owen, whose real name is Ethan. He's like, Ethan, you had something to do with this. And Ethan's like, no, I didn't. I'm fleeing the state. So Owen picks up his daughter like a football, changes his name, and he's gone. And for the next 10 or so years, Mr. Grandfather, the Lord of Texas, because you'd think he's a king or something based on how much and how scared these people are to talk about him. He's been looking for his granddaughter because he misses her, and he also wants to kill his son-in-law. Isn't that like a typical family reunion? That part was interesting. I have nothing against that plot, that twist, but that's the only bit of thriller, twisty nonsense we get in this book, and it wasn't that surprising, really. For a thriller, there were no suspenseful moments. I wasn't scared, was not thrilled, and as I mentioned before, the climax is Hannah somehow getting Good Lawyer Grandpa's address. She goes up, knock knock on the mansion, and she's like, hello, Mr. Mob Boss. Do not kneecap me, please. I am here to negotiate a peace. She is lucky that man did not take out his own piece and shoot her head off. So she and the grandpa, they sit each other down and they just like talk out their feelings. Grandpa's still really mad about Owen. And Hannah's like, can't you just forgive him for running off with your granddaughter? Old man's like, no. Well, yes, I could, but he made a lot of other like mob boss families really mad. They ain't gonna stop like hunting him down. He's gonna be on the run for the rest of his life. What I can do is make sure they never hurt Bailey. Will you let me visit her? Hannah's like, that's up for her to decide. Okay, let's negotiate this peace. I'm fine never seeing my husband ever again, as long as I get to keep Bailey safe. This girl who actively hates me. That's another problem with this book. This is about stepmother and stepdaughter bonding, but they don't have that breakthrough moment. They are still like the same people from the beginning of the book towards the end of the book. And then we have this epilogue where Bailey suddenly, oh, I love you so much, Mom. Where did that come from? Oh, there was a false bit of tension towards the end of the book, like while Hannah and the granddad are talking about their feelings and hugging it out. Yeah, Bailey went missing. It's not that dramatic. It's not worth nothing getting upset about. There were some dumb decisions in this book. Besides, going to Austin, Texas when you have U.S. Marshals knocking at your door and just wandering around the hot baking streets of Austin, just hoping something would jog your moody teenage daughter's hormones. I don't know. What do teenagers used to think? Yeah, Bailey did something stupid. Hannah did something stupid. Every thriller has a moment where they have to destroy their phone. It's like the bread and butter of drama. Dramatic, throw it down on the pavement, get your high heel, smash it. Hannah had been on the internet in her hotel's bathroom, and that's when she found out through some scrolling about the whole granddad's a lawyer, drug cartel stuff. Bailey's mom got ran over. Granddad blamed Owen for some reason. Now Owen and Bailey are on the run. She found all that out with a Google search. You didn't have to go to Texas, hun. They did have to find out Owen's real name, though, or the name of Bailey's mom, which they did find through wedding records and or college records, all of which can be accomplished with a phone call. I saved you airfare. Yeah, so Hannah, she finds out all that stuff on her phone, and she's like, oh no, my stepdaughter's in trouble. My phone is dirty now. Smash, step, I'm gonna leave the bathroom now. Oh, what's this? My daughter's missing. Oh, let me call her and see where oh no, I had just destroyed my phone. If you had waited 5 seconds just to open the door, peek your head out, see if Bailey was chilling on the bed, contributing nothing to the story, like she usually does, there wouldn't have been such a hullabaloo, a false hullabaloo, towards the end of the book. Because Bailey's missing now, except she's not missing. Bailey, for some reason, she gets this phone call while Hannah's locked away in the bathroom doing the internet search. Bailey gets the phone call, she picks it up, and it's just like breathing and static, and she's hopeful that it's her dad on the other line. So for some reason, she's like, oh, let me move outside of the hotel and see if the reception is better. I could understand that. She gets to the front of the hotel. She leaves the hotel. Still nothing. So she's like, maybe if I just keep walking, I'll get better reception. Girl, you actively know there's people in Austin, Texas hunting you down at this moment, and yet you decide to leave the hotel. And she admits, because she and Hannah get reunited, and Hannah's like, baby dear, what happened to you? And Bailey's like, oh, I was on the phone and I just kept walking and walking. That's it. The great missing child manhunt is just this girl deciding just to walk forward until she gets phone reception. Well, that's your climax. I gave this a 2. Why did I give this a 2? I mean, I'm not mean enough to give it a 1. It's not that bad. But do I recommend this? No. Go read a better thriller. Go read The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. That's drama right there. I need to reread that sucker. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, stay reading, my friends.